Good morning. Welcome to a Friday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing. HudcoRoofing.com. Hope your Friday is off to a fantastic start. Hope you all had a good night last night. Watched the Field of Dreams game. It was almost perfect. Almost perfect. Really cool though for Major League Baseball if you didn't watch it. The way they opened it with Kevin Costner coming out and speaking, and the players coming out of the corn, and just really well done. Good job MLB. Really, really well done. And the game was fabulous as well. I mean, the Yankees got up on Lance Lynn. The White Sox, who were in first place, rallied, appeared to have it. Top of the ninth, Yankees hit a couple of homers. They take an 8-7 lead, and then no Chapman, so it felt sort of inevitable after the walk, but walk and then a 2-run walk-off homer for the White Sox. Sucks. You got to remember it's just one, but it still felt for 1 out of 162. It felt way more meaningful than that. So good job, Major League Baseball. LSU football was back on the practice field yesterday, as were the Saints. They'll practice again today, and then Saints are off to Baltimore. They'll play the Ravens tomorrow in the first preseason game. I know everyone's fascinated to see how it's going to go with the starting quarterbacks, or with the quarterbacks. But I've told you my feeling on the quarterbacks all along. We also know, Glenn Logan. Talked about that maybe a bit yesterday. I can't remember if we talked about it a ton on Morning Scone yesterday, but we, excuse me. We learned Glenn Logan has an injury. Cut certainly. Look, he's your most experienced defensive lineman. 45 career games played with 31 starts. Logan and Farrell side by side. That's one of, if not the most experienced defensive line tandem in the SEC. You take Logan out. Look, they've raved about Joe Evans, even back to spring. So Joe Evans, Neil Farrell as your defensive tackles, I like that a lot. But then your next two are Jaquale and Roy Mason Smith. I like that a lot too. But it still cuts your depth, right? I mean, you'd love it if you had a really veteran guy as your three. I mean, if Mason Smith is your fifth defensive tackle, it's pretty strong. They're still okay there. They're okay there, but and just hoping they get Glenn back. Poor Glenn. All right, let's say some good morning. See what y'all got. Jason Truax, good morning. Brian and Andy Pinton, good morning from Hardy, Montana. Good to see y'all back this morning. Stephen Miller, good morning. Mark Vitanovich, mandatory vaccines aren't a good idea for the Saints games. Mark, maybe, and I'll be interested to see how the city reacts to that. But if and I was asking some people yesterday their opinion. I was asking after the show, Musso and Danny after AFR, their opinion on the vaccine. And what I was saying was, would you get vaccinated if you had to go to an LSU game? And I think the interesting thing is, for those that are unvaccinated, I'm curious what your motive will be. If there's a thing that will push you. Because I just went through this, right? I mean, for me, it was obviously learning that this Delta variant is affecting children. So then obviously I'm very aware of Drew. And then I mean, I'm supposed to be on a plane to LA in 3 weeks. And, I'm fearful that, wait, let me put this on airplane mode, sorry. I'm fearful that they may not allow me in the stadium at the Rose Bowl, or I won't be able to do things in LA if I'm unvaccinated. So that's why, those two reasons, primarily Drew, but then the trip to UCLA as well. So for those that missed it, what Mark's talking about is the mayor of New Orleans announced yesterday that Dome will be at full capacity, 100% capacity, but you have to be vaccinated or have a negative PCR test 72 hours prior to kickoff. So, it's interesting. It's going to force a lot of people who otherwise would not have gotten vaccinated to get vaccinated. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Let's see, Mark. Will Taysom Hill shine tomorrow night in the Saints preseason game with the Ravens? No. And even if he did, Mark, I don't care. Because listen, I love preseason from the standpoint of getting to watch who's going to battle for roster spots 51, 52, 53. You know what I mean? Like, I'm interested to see a guy like Kawan Baker, 7th round draft pick. Could he earn a spot on this team? Jalen McCleskey went to IR. Does that make an opportunity for Baker? I'm really interested with all of the offensive linemen to see, okay, well, who are the guys that are pushing for spots 6, 7, 8? I feel really good that James Hurst is going to be one of your swing tackles. But who's going to win? Does Will Clapp win a spot again? Like, those are the things that I'm really interested to see in preseason. Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback. So I don't care what happens in a fake preseason game in Baltimore or what happens in a practice on a Tuesday morning in Metairie. I just don't care. It just doesn't matter. So, what matters is what happens on Sundays. And we've seen what Taysom Hill looks like on Sundays. And he ain't an NFL quarterback. Lowell Cormier, good morning. Brian Ashcraft, good morning. Hey, Brian, thank you for sending me the picture, man. That was really cool. I don't know if you heard, but I got to use that on air yesterday. So, Brian, for his company, bought an Air and Surface Pro unit from mycleanliving.net, who y'all have heard me talk about, for their control room at their plant. So, I was grateful. A lot of things. I had an interesting convo too yesterday. It's fun to hear the stories people use them. Like I told you, St. Jude, where Erica works. St. Jude put the Fresh Air Mobile, the small purifier that I keep on set on AFR. They put one of those in every one of their classrooms, and then they put the bigger units in a lot of the common areas, like their cafeteria and their gym and stuff. But Erica was telling some of the teachers were talking yesterday, and like, do you notice our classrooms, like with the boys after recess, our classrooms don't smell anymore? I'm like, yeah, they don't. The molecules from the Fresh Air Mobile or from the Air Service Pro will neutralize the odor-causing bacteria. It eliminates odor. It's actually pretty cool. It's cool to hear those stories. So anyway. Jamie Leday, good morning. Deborah Cowart, good morning, Matt. Ready for LSU Football Friday pregame and Saturdays? It's coming, Deborah. We're 3 weeks from tomorrow. How about that? Or Football Fridays, 3 weeks from today. Henry Gordon, actually, and you've got week 0, 2 weeks from tomorrow. You got college football in 2 weeks. How about that? And UCLA is going to be playing. UCLA is going to be playing Hawaii in 2 weeks. How about that? Let's see. Henry Gordon Bennett, morning, Matt. So Marcel Brooks is playing wide receiver for TCU. Wow. That is really surprising that he has not found a home as a rush end, man. Maybe we should have gone to Baylor with Dave Aranda. Darren Bone, good morning. Chris Williams, good morning. Brian Wynn, great game last night, especially the rallies by both teams in the 9th. Yeah, wish it would have gone the other way. Chris, I thought the Yankees were going to pull off the win. Great game. It was that. Charlie Cavell, good morning. Glenn Logan injury is disconcerting. Look, man, I don't know if y'all remember this, but in 2019 championship season, we had all assumed that year that Fehoko was going to be one of the starters and Logan beat him out in fall camp, and Glenn Logan became a starter. And when they played Texas, he injured his ankle, and he ended up having that procedure that Tua had. Remember where they go in with like a wire and they like put the wire through the ankle and like just to stabilize the ligaments and all that stuff. Glenn Logan had that in 2019, the same thing. And he came back. He missed 3 games, and then there was also like I think an open date that year, a second open date. But he missed 3 games, so he was gone for about a month. Came back and started the rest of the season, and then last year he missed the first 2 games of the season as well. So he's battled some injuries throughout his career. So I hate to hear that he's hurt again, especially a guy who came back for a 6th season trying to increase draft stock and stuff like that. But hopefully he can get back out there, man. Hopefully it's not too. Hopefully it's not too severe, and he's able to get back out there. Ben Dupuy, love Locked on LSU. Thank you, man. What can you tell us about Devontae Strong? Number 1 JUCO linebacker. Right now, haven't heard much about him, man, honestly. And y'all know they practice while I'm on air at 4 o'clock, so I don't physically get to see him. And also, the way that when they're outside, where they position the media, like there's 4 fields in the outdoor, and where they position the media right now is by the offense, and so the defense is completely on the other side of it, like a full football field away. So, so I don't know. I haven't heard a ton about him. It was really interesting to hear Ed Ogeron say Jared Small is actually starting right now. Now, I don't think that holds. I think that's because you bring in Mike Jones and Strong and say, look, you got to win this job. And I think they will. Look, Jared Small's a Catholic High guy, a Baton Rouge kid, walked on, who's been through an awful lot. I don't know if y'all know this, but Jared Small was in the vehicle with Clyde when the shooting happened. I don't know if y'all remember. I'm sure y'all remember that story. Where he was selling a PlayStation and the person who he was meeting tried to rob him at gunpoint, and Clyde shot him. But Jared Small was in the car as well. So I mean, he's been through a lot, man. But I didn't mean to go like too super serious. But I guess my point is, like, I feel really good for that kid. He's worked really hard. He's getting his opportunity, which is fantastic, and seems to be making the most of it. Is he an SEC linebacker? I don't think so. But let's see if we can get out. It's it's like this. One of the big criticisms when DJ Welter was playing inside backer at LSU, DJ was such a solid player, man. He was always in the right position. He was a tough kid. He just wasn't Kendall Beckwith. You know what I mean? Like, look at Kendall Beckwith. And ultimately, they got to the point where it was like, you got to have the guy that physically can make more plays, even if he's not always going to be in the right place. And that's ultimately why Beckwith ended up getting more and more snaps. And it's not, I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing, but I'm sure that's how it's coming across. But eventually, you just have to decide you're going to play the better player, And I think that's ultimately what'll happen. But I know you asked me about Strong, but that led me down this whole weird pathway on linebackers. But anyway, thank you for listening to Locked On. By the way, Locked On LSU. If you haven't subscribed yet, however you get your podcast, please subscribe to Locked On LSU. Appreciate that. Joey Vincent, Trivia Carter, good morning. DC Vlog LSU, what's up? Bubba Tatum, good morning. Field of Dreams game was great. MLB could not have asked for more. Great game, walk off into the corn. The ending sucked, but dramatic, yes, but the result sucked. Kelly Gross, good morning. Spurge, good morning. Jesse Brown, morning Matt Saints, signing DT McIntosh, saw that. Does provide some depth. Does he provide a better option than what we have? I just think, Jesse, right now, it's one of those things where you have to have numbers. They didn't really replace David Onyemata yet. And they can sell me all they want on. Look at, and I think, Malcolm Roach can be a really good player. Who's the other guy that they're high on? Sorry, I'm looking this up because there's a couple of names I just haven't committed to memory yet. But okay, so they've got Malcolm Roach, Jalen Dalton, who's a second-year player out of North Carolina, who they like a lot, who's flashed a little in this camp, but remains to be seen. They got Josiah Brunson, who's a rookie, undrafted free agent. Christian Ringo, then Shai Tuttle is the other one that I was thinking of. Malcolm Roach, Shai Tuttle. I just don't know that I'm good going into the season with Malcolm Roach, Shai Tuttle, Jalen Dalton, Christian Ringo. You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, the thing that I told y'all from the beginning of camp was going to happen, it started to happen this week, which is Peyton Turner has kicked inside and started playing defensive tackle. I think they know he can rush the passer, and he really did well early in camp. But this week he started playing tackle as well. He's going to play defensive tackle. He has to. He has to play defensive tackle on this team, and you just have to have. You have to have Marcus Davenport have a big year. Davenport, Granderson, they have to be big opposite Cam Jordan because you've got to have Peyton Turner play some tackle. You just have to. Jason Mobile, good morning. Been out with the COVID, but I'm back with it on this. Hope you're doing all right, man. Sounds like you are, which is good to see. What did you miss? I don't know. Saints and Sean Payton and Michael Thomas feuding. Glenn Logan's injured. You got to have a COVID vax to go to the Superdome this year. Just stuff. Let's see. Ogeron came over for breakfast yesterday. He and Matt talked about everything. Now Matt's a huge fan of the binder. Bubba, you're crazy. Let's see. Kyle, sucks the Saints game is only going to be in local markets. I won't be able to watch it. What's your thoughts on the Le'Veon Moss decommit from Bama? Have you heard if LSU is a candidate? No idea. Sorry, Kyle. If you want recruiting, I'm not your guy. Come February or December for the early signing period, I'll know what I need to know. But sorry, I thought Drew's backpack was beat. No, so sorry, man. I wish I could give you more there. Let's see, Jason. I had the vaccine. It was still brutal. Get vaccinated, people. Cliff Nelson. Good morning, Manny. Good morning. Cliff, better advantage LSU getting film on UCLA or UCLA getting a game under their belt. So that's a good point, Cliff, because you really could spin it either way. But I would 100% rather play the game. And let's be real. That's why UCLA scheduled that game. And remember, they only played a 6-game schedule a year ago. So their players only played 6 games a year ago, and their quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, was in the COVID protocol for 2 of them. So he only played 4 games. So UCLA, there's a reason they scheduled the game ahead of the LSU game, because what's the old adage, biggest improvement week 1 to week 2? They want to go play a game and hopefully improve week 1 to week 2. Now, because as far as the game film, Cliff, UCLA returns 20 starters. So, they got everybody back. Just look at film from last year. You see film of all their players, Brandon English, morning, Matt, letting you know I did re-email you yesterday. Thank you, Brandon. I saw it and I will reply. I promise. I promise this time. Eric, hard to argue with Holder saying we have the worst wide receivers in the league. Any concern Jameis doesn't get a fair go at this? No, Eric. And so Larry Holder was on AFR yesterday, and he's right. We talked about what he was watching for the preseason game against Baltimore, and he said that the Saints wide receivers are the worst unit in the league. And I'd have to comb through it all, but he's got a point. Especially if Traquan Smith is your best wide receiver, and he's hurt. Even with Traquan, if that's your best, and then your second best is Deontay Harris. Then you're talking about walk-ons. I mean, you need, or walk-ons, undrafted free agent, you just need to have Marquez Callaway have a big year. I mean, and I don't think it's unrealistic. Like, I think Marquez Callaway will be a really good player. I was excited about him last year. You know, after the draft, when people said, "What undrafted free agent are you looking for?" I told you Marquez Callaway because I thought he'd make the team on special teams. Maybe like in that Courtney Roby role, the guy was a returner and a gunner, but then also, you know, as your last wide receiver and maybe earn more reps. We saw the injury to Michael Thomas, and we get it. So, but your question was about Jameis not getting a fair shake. No, I don't think that's a problem. Jeffrey Parrott, morning, Scone. What do you think about Jabril Cox on Hard Knocks? Have not watched Hard Knocks. I've never been a fan of Hard Knocks. Not that I don't like it. I've just never watched it. Maybe I should go back and check it out. Brandon, guess I'm going to move to YouTube. Facebook isn't notifying me for some reason when you're on. All good, man. By the way, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, please smash the like button. Only 16 likes. Let's see if we can get that number up. Thank y'all. And Facebook, as always, please like the page, share the post. Like the page, share the post. Sean White, good morning. Don Jolibois, good morning. Sean White, Michael Thomas to the Eagles will be super material with big-time arm Joe Flacco. You don't think Jalen Hurts is going to win that job? Manny, Field of Dreams game was fantastic. Charlie, I've been critical of MLB and its moronic decisions. Last night, MLB knocked it out of the park, pun intended. It was incredible. Couldn't have scripted it better. Yeah, they could have, had the Yankees won the game. By the way, I emailed you at your HUDCO address a while back and never responded. From what email, Charlie? I'll go back and check it out. Or if you would just re-email me. My apologies if I didn't see it. Blake DeVilliers, injury update on Dwight McGlothern. Don't have one, man. Sorry. We should have. Let me see. We haven't gotten an O in a while. Hang on. Let me see. Hang on one second, y'all. Right, today's Friday today's Friday the 13th. Oh, okay, so Coach O met with the media last night. It was at 6:30. Okay. And then player interviews are 12:30 today, and then practice at 4:15. Sorry, y'all. All right, so Logan re-injured his foot, knew that. Ty Davis Price, full speed Monday. And then Stingley has a minor camp injury. Oh, God, you also Stingley's car. It's so interesting, man. Like, that, if you ever wonder, like, why did anybody stop to think why a car dealership in Natchitoches, Louisiana, was doing a deal with Derek Stingley? Did anybody stop to think about that? Hang on a second, just backtrack. I'm gonna let y'all think about that for a second. Why would a car dealership in Natchitoches, Louisiana, do a deal with Derek Stingley? Think that over. As always, y'all, shout out to Brock, manager with Peter Clinic, and HUDCOroofing.com. Any answers? Any answers? Why would Derek Stingley do a deal with a car dealership out of Natchitoches, Louisiana? Why not one of the giant regional dealers or the big dealers in Baton Rouge? Why would Derek Stingley do a deal with a car dealership in Natchitoches, Louisiana? Oh. You wonder why. Makes you wonder, huh? Preston Schulze, morning, Matt. Any chance we see UCLA moved or changes happen? So, Preston, yesterday had Ben Bolch, who's beat writer for UCLA for the LA Times, and he said it's a go. I mean, maybe like masks in the concourse type thing, but the big difference, and I've said this a few times, but I'll keep reiterating it. In Louisiana, things with respect to COVID are very bad, but the rest of the country isn't as bad as it is here because we, and basically the Gulf South, is the least vaccinated region of the country. Like, that's not a political statement, that's a fact. Our vaccination rate in Louisiana and Alabama and Florida is the least in the country, and we have the highest spikes right now. Other places have been far more aggressive in getting vaccinated, wearing masks, and taking those precautions, so theirs hasn't been as overwhelming. So it's, it's very likely going to be just fine there because they've taken more precautions than their residents have taken more precautions than ours have, and so they haven't seen the spike we have. That's all. But so I'm not worried about it, Preston. I mean, everyone I've talked about in LA is like, yeah, game's gonna happen. I mean, that's not even a thought there. Ryan Dixon, I'd love to take on that air purifier with my flatulence. Crazy, bro. Dylan Landry, good morning. Chris Williams, is Thomas still wanting a trade after his talk with Peyton? Seems like they worked it out, man. That according to Charles Robinson of Yahoo Sports. And I'm glad to see that. I know a lot of people wanted to ship Mike Thomas out, but my feeling is that Sean Payton was going to trade him. But apparently they've worked it out, and I'm much happier to see that. I want him back in New Orleans. Let's see. Reagan Lee, got to believe the three linebackers, Mike Jones, Bug, and Damone. Baskerville, bro. Baskerville was the guy that saved that group late last season because he was the only one that could play inside. Damone and Jabril Cox could not play inside. They were lost. Baskerville really steadied that group late in the season. I mean, they still weren't great, but Baskerville's the guy, I tell you. Dale Broussard, who do you predict will be the next LSU coach to win a national championship? Several options now, you're right. So for a long time, I've always said it was Beth. And my reasoning was, but you keep getting to Oklahoma City like over and over and over again. Eventually, you're just going to win that damn tournament. Like, you keep getting into the field. Eventually, you're going to win it. That was like Skip. I mean, it took Skip 5 times to Omaha before he finally won it. Once he broke through, boom. So I've said Beth for a long time. I think I would probably go Mulkey because I think with her pedigree and the way she's already turned around the roster, it's plausible that she'll have them in a Final Four in 2 to 3 years. Maybe not year 1, but year 2 or 3, it's plausible. I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody in college baseball. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to say who, because this is a very bold opinion, and and I would want them to say it publicly. I wouldn't want to affix it to them without them saying it. But it's someone that I trust. We'll say it that way. And it's not Kendall Rogers, by the way. Who said this LSU baseball team can win the national championship, like this year. They can win the national championship. And And it said, you know why? I was like, pitching? I mean, with the way that they've sort of retooled the staff. He said, it's the new coach, what did he say? Mojo or boost or energy. And it's interesting because like we did see that, if you remember, with Mississippi State. When Andy got fired, they rallied, man. They rallied around and pushed that team all the way to Omaha. And it was a talented team. And I think this LSU team, it was just interesting because I think, we all look at what's happening with LSU baseball and we're like, man, pumped about it, right? The transfer portal, the roster, the commitments, like it all feels really good. But everything I've heard over there with Jay has been fantastic, man. Like Jay and the volunteer assistant that he brought over, what's that guy's name? God, I need to memorize this guy's name, sorry. Wanaka, that's it, Mark Wanaka. He and Wanaka are basically clones. So basically, no matter where they are, players are getting the same message. And and to have your whole staff in line is important. And LSU hadn't had that for a while. So LSU baseball has a legit chance this year. Like this year. Oh, it is 8:27. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna go quickly here because I gotta wrap up because I gotta get to a meeting with Drew's therapist for 9, but it's just right around the corner. But I gotta go. All right, let's see. Dale Broussard, who do you predict? Oh, sorry, I just read that one. Shelby, mom has COVID symptoms. My son has foot and mouth. What a day. What a way to celebrate turning 29. Sorry to hear that, man. But is today your birthday? If it is, Shelby, happy birthday, man. Birthdays are special and should be treated as such. I'm sorry that everybody's not feeling so great, but man, take some time to celebrate you. Ben Dupuy, who is Bug, that's Bug Strong, Devontae Strong, the number 1 JUCO linebacker in the country, was part of this class. Hey, Jeffrey Bone, good morning. Brody Dupree, isn't it ironic LSU's strength is DBs and wide receiver depth, and the Saints' weakness is DBs and wide receiver depth? Well, Brody, it's not exactly irony. And those who have been longtime AFR Morning Scone viewers know that actually I love you, Brody. I love you. Like, it's just a pet peeve. I don't know. I wish I could turn that off. When people misuse the word ironic, it's a pet peeve. I don't know. I don't know why. I wish I could turn off that part of my brain. It annoys Erica to death. We were literally, Erica, here's a story for you. We were literally on our first date. And we went on a blind date. And it was like, it was 3 couples. And Erica and I were on a blind date. So it was 6 of us, but and I literally, I'm meeting this person for the first time. And I literally corrected somebody at the table for misusing irony. Like, that's how much of a problem it is. Like, everything in your brain says, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, shut up, idiot, don't say it, right? And I couldn't help it. Couldn't help it. Anyway. But yeah, that's true. Brandon Ryder, good morning, Matt. What's your best guess on how many touchdown passes Max Johnson will have at the end of the season? Give me an average of 1.5 a game, 12 games. Give me 18. Give me 18 touchdowns and 6 picks. 18 touchdowns, 6 picks. I'm telling y'all, 2022 is going to be the year. 2022 is the squad that's going to make the run. 2022, they are going to be flipping dangerous. 2020, remember I told y'all. Eric Wilderrider, ADA over $2. Let's go. Run. Gulf South, because Jimmy Granger played for LSU in the 60s. Morning Scone. I think what the Saints are doing for entry to the Dome is what every team should do. Push forward to make sure we have full stadiums. Yeah, look, Jonathan, you can't... Listen, we live in a free society. You cannot force people to put something in their body they don't want to. And I would never, ever say that. But you can, as an organization or as a community, make decisions that you feel are for the best interests for the health and safety of your community. And if people don't want to abide by those regulations, they just don't go to the game. And that's I think a fair trade-off, you know. Kyle Lofton, 18, we are in trouble. What does that mean, 18, we're in trouble? I don't know. I don't know what that means, sorry. 21 years ago today, Shane Falco showed up at halftime, led the Washington Sentinels to the playoffs with a game-winning touchdown pass as time expired. The replacements, 21 years ago. Wow, incredible. All right, y'all, I got to go. As always, y'all, shout out to Brock and Hudco. If you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. You need a roof, call us at Hudco. Commercial or residential. I have a lot of people ask me lately, do y'all do commercial roofing? Yes, we do. So give us a shout, hudcoroofing.com. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. Locked on LSU coming up later today, AFR at 3, and we'll see you. Peace.